So when I was a kid, my favorite toys were G.I. Joes. Not the big tall ones, but the little small ones. I had a whole army of them and a bunch of vehicles too. I'd set up bases all around my house, and sometimes if the weather was good, outside also. One of my favorite memories is just having a day where I set up all the bases, and outside in the backyard we have an above ground swimming pool and some above ground garden beds. So I would use those for the Cobra Command outposts. And usually I'd have the Joe base inside in my room, and it made for some epic wars. Usually the objective was for the good guys to infiltrate Cobra Command, and the main way they do this is from my favorite vehicle, the hovercraft, which was huge and had a little boat inside that would come out from the bottom, and you could put your little guys on there for the Navy SEAL operations. But yeah, the Joes would assemble their strike team, and the main force would infiltrate the Cobra base with characters like Tunnel Rat and Snake Eyes. There'd also be a crew that would be on the plane, fly up to the pool to establish advanced sniper positions. But Cobra wasn't defenseless. They had an aerial attack of their own that came in the form of a big purple helicopter. It also had 2 detachable jet-type escape pods they could use to flank the snipers. These skirmishes were legendary and sometimes would even last a whole weekend. It was always hard to decide who won. Sometimes the stealth team would get captured and held as POWs, and sometimes Cobra would catch wind of the hovercraft and be ready to attack by the time it arrived. But most of the time, the Joes were victorious.
My name is Brent LeBlanc. My favorite childhood toy are those old Nerf guns, like those black and yellow ones. And I remember always getting in trouble with my parents for using them all the time, whether it was like shooting any of my older sisters with them, or like later on they had those ones that were battery operated. And they were really loud. And I would get yelled at constantly to either just put them away or stop shooting them and everything. Yeah.
What color were your Nerf guns?
They were either the old black and yellow ones, or I remember when the blue colored ones started coming out. That would have been like 2011, 2012.
Nice. Were those ones like the blue bullets, like shot faster?
Yeah.
I forgot, what were those called?
I don't remember.
The Nerf Hyper Focus.
It was some old, but yeah, they started using batteries. And I remember when they came out with the ones that used like magazines. I remember as a kid thinking that was crazy, because before the Nerf gun I remember the most is the one, I think it was called like the Maverick or something. It was that revolver looking one. And I think that's probably the most iconic Nerf gun.
It's that yellow, orange, and black one. Like the black barrel.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that one. That's like the OG.
Yeah, that's the one I had all the time, and I eventually got 2, and I would just think how cool it was to dual wield them, even though like a 6-year-old me wasn't strong enough to cock both of them at the same time. But yeah, I got yelled at by my mom a lot, specifically because she was afraid I was gonna like shoot a glass vase or something and shatter it. I just got in a lot of trouble for it mostly, which is probably why I enjoyed it so much.
Did you ever like move furniture around to make like Nerf obstacles?
Yeah, that'd be the other thing I'd get in trouble for, is using it in places that weren't my bedroom. Like I'd just go downstairs and start using the living room as Nerf gun arena type things. And whenever my dad would cave in and entertain me, he'd always get upset at me if I shot him in the face, because I was a 6-year-old. I wasn't gonna not shoot my dad in the face if I was given an opportunity to. But yeah, I remember they had those sticky ones that I would get stuck to like every window in the house. That would also get me yelled at for, especially if it was like one way high up on like a sunroof or something. Then we had a real problem getting them.
Cool. Right on. Thanks, man.